Welcome back to another AQ World Infinity video. If you are wanting to stay up to date with AQ World Infinity stuff, be sure to tap that subscribe button, as I will be following this game very closely, providing you with all the information you need regarding this game. This is week 2 of the daily update post, and this is going to be covering all the stuff that was worked on over this last week in AQ World Infinity. Merci is for the week. And this is a little image of a Skelly. And Monday, full team meeting. It was unexpectedly filled with all sorts of good news. Heritage. That's interesting wordplay. Spider started converting 14,000 helmets over the weekend. He'd gotten to about 4,000 when he realized that all the hairs were the wrong size. They were tiny, very small. When it comes to these original Flash files, they're very much consistently inconsistent, so he's fiddling to try to find out the correct scale. Then he'll start the automated export process again. If you're wondering why not math, the answer is math not compatible with this level of inconsistent chaos. Cross your fingers. 3.6 gigabytes of items. Yep, items. Just items. We have 40,000 plus folders containing 60,000 plus items. Fortunately, you'll never have to download that many, but we do need to upload that many. The old Flash files were tiny. These new Unity files will not fit in the overhead compartment of an airplane. We're looking into a better way to check them into the server. Nolgath new animations. Nolgath has been animating more monsters and some new skills. As seen below, we are officially now using Mrs. Girl as our template instead of Mr. Guy. I feel like someone needs to start a web comic about Mr. Guy being displaced from his job and forced to find new meaning and fulfillment in his life. Maybe he joins the circus or becomes exposed to gamma radiation and starts hitchhiking to dramatic music. Perhaps he reaches AI sentient and begins playing the game. I was thinking sentence for a second, blending in with other players and manipulating them to help him hatch his plan to inject his consciousness into a robot in the real world. Then his corporate physical form, he would seek revenge. Infiltrating the lab, he seeks to destroy the ones who once created him, but instead finds Mrs. Girl. It's love at first sight. Visual GPU render. They fall deeply in love. The two are about to get married in one-in-a-lifetime special event. It's so beautiful. The tears from players across the world nearly fry their laptops and tablets. But then Mrs. Girl announces the player. It forms a rift between them. Mrs. Girl cannot live without the player. Mr. Guy understands. He loves her more than he loves himself, so he leaves without word. Now he travels the world, seeking to become a kung fu ninja. Mr. Guy, the legend, continues. There's one of the animations that Nolgath has been working on. Very, very nice. And we have Combat Man. Immortal Joe is getting pretty happy with how combat feels. Those new damage numbers, the one that fly out of the monster at an angle and sort of look like you're knocking its teeth out, are looking good. We are going to meet tomorrow to finalize the art styles. So if you're super, super good, maybe I'll post a gift of the final ones after the meeting. Cut screams. Tunic did a huge amount of work on the dialogue cutscene systems over the weekend. Reens and Ghost will resume using it tomorrow to build some cutscenes for Bludrut Keep. We do expect stuff to break. It's a natural part of this process. As a fun surprise, Tunic was horrified to discover my code changes to his tool over the weekend. That's interesting. Turns out I only updated 3 of the 4 that needed the code. This caused some very special bugs to happen. Whoops. Head in the Cloud Builder. We're still limping along at our emergency backup machine for the Cloud Builder. Once the new computer arrives and is set up, Warlick is going to get us operational again to publish to other platforms. Until then, he started doing a full re-import of all the old items. He found a lot of errors in the old batch and modified the code to fix them. That's all for today. Check back for more exciting existing episode of AQ World Infinity Z. Look at that nice thrust animation. On Tuesday, mortal.combat. Had a bit of late start on Infinity today, so not sure of what all the coders are up to, but got to see the combat stuff Immortal Joe and Spider have been working on. It is looking smooth. Those damaged text pop-ups are looking good. We did not finalize the colors and animations yet. Going to ask Ghost if he can join us tomorrow to lend his expertise to make it pop. We did find a number of edge case combat bugs today. He made a list, and we're checking the can of bug spray as you read this. Another animation going on. And the die all logger. If you have been reading these posts, you already know that our dialogue system has achieved the status of scope creep hell. What started as a simple visual novel style dialogue system turned into, hey, how about we make it do everything Flash can, and also translation, and also a visual novel engine, and maybe it should be able to run mini games. And how about we connect it to our fridge so we can tell how many cans of caffeine are still in there, because we're going to need all of them. Tunic, the coder, has held up well under the pressure and has been delivering. That being said, it is still in its infancy, pretty bare bones. But as this morning, he finished converting all of the text to the new system and added a file menu. One neat feature is the dialoguer can save cutscenes as plain text files locally, or connect to the database and add them straight to the game. I'm not making any promises, but it is conceivable that we'll be able to release a version of this for players to make cutscenes in the distant future. It would need a lot of work to be able to be user-friendly, but it is an interesting thing to think about. Okay, right there, that sounds crazy amazing. I could just imagine having some kind of template that you could use to create cutscenes in AQ World Infinity. Imagine what content creators could do, or people with really good imaginations. We have a lot of those in the game, or in the community, I should say. Can you imagine things like Boleen running a make-your-own cutscene contest? Yes, I could so see that. Tunic walked me through the project, and we are now starting to clean up the user interface. I'll be working on that until midnight tonight. Tomorrow, we are going to try to bring everything together to get a playable version of Bludrut up. Oh, and there's a bug where any class you log out of Infinity with will revert to rank 0 when you log into normal AQ World Infinity. We might need to fix that before the tech demo. Oh, I like how those numbers pop up off there. That looks really neat. Here's a GIF I promised. So that's the GIF right there he promised. Oh yeah. We are testing the damage pop-ups, and I asked Immortal Joe if he could make the cooldown of the normal attacks to be like 0.1 seconds. I like how the hits and crits are easy to distinguish. Looks fun, and fly out of the monsters like you are knocking their teeth out. We created custom text effects for hit, crit, heal, crit, dodge, miss, damage over time, heal over time, and auras. I personally cannot wait for the auras to go in. Right now, they're just simple yellow text. Now, they will pop a bit and feel like you are casting a skill. The death timing is just a hair off though. You can see the skeleton is dying when my attack starts, not when the hit connects. We're working on that. So you can see when it drops already, but he's still in that final hit. I really wanted to talk about the NES stuff this time, but there's too much to do. So how about we talk about it next week? If I send you a ROM of my best game from the Game Jam, would you play it? I would play it for sure, hands down. Thursday. So here's the Bludrut. Look at that. Closes it. That is really cool. Man, this game is really coming along. Finding Dory. Like the movie. It is nice seeing the map machines in action. These are the things that handle interactive objects like the door to Bludrut Keep above. The creaking, I should actually showcase that while I'm reading this. The creaking sound Jongar implemented is perfect. The animations shown above, not so much. No worries, we already fixed it. We started a slow crawl run through the first quests in Bludrut Keep. There were a lot of problems. The new AutoQuest turn-in feature was not working as imagined. It was causing the NPC to pop up on the screen unexpectedly, blocking everything. So we're recoding how that works. The dialogue system completely broke in the game, but just in the game, not the dialogue editor. We lost over an hour just investigating why. We encountered a few weird UI problems. This included the text shifting around strangely when you insta-travel to the map where the quest takes takes place. Also, a few quest flow issues. For example, how do you not spoil what is going to happen next in the room when you need to tell the player what to do next? In the existing AQ world, you would just do a thing and then talk to the NPC. But talking to the NPC after every quest is not really needed most of the time. So when you quest in Infinity, some quests will just complete and automatically put you on the next one. And this is also how it works in AQ 3D on certain quests like 4 sagas and stuff, which is much better. It flows better than having to constantly return to the NPC. And it will do better as of tomorrow. Quests have a title and can have as many objectives as needed. The best solution for our how do you have quests to go to new places without spoilers is simply to add more quests. For the first time today, Reens added a new quest into the middle of an existing quest chain, and it worked. See, something like that, which doesn't seem that big to us, that is a huge step. Do you see the quest with the quest giver's face in the upper right? He's talking about this right here. That is your currently tracked quest. You can click on it from anywhere to bring up the NPC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the first time we did this in the original game was in the Living Dungeon release. AQ World's map designers have been using things like this a lot because it's much better for players and always having to run back to the NPCs. As I just mentioned that a moment ago. This version in Infinity is a polished version that all quests will use. Josh Strife Hayes is going to be disappointed that our buttons are not as inconsistent as in previous games. Makes me sort of want to write a random button variant generator that changes and moves the buttons a bit. The horrors of the customizable player dummy. Animating the player in Infinity has become hard mode, like really hard mode. At some point in the last 2 months, the customizable player dummy got messed up. We're not entirely sure what issue caused it yet. Maybe it's that 2D bone system that we're using that got dropped, or maybe something happened when we switched to the female model. Not sure yet, but tomorrow we're going to find out. Calling an emergency meeting with Nolgath and Ghost, the only 2 people who animate the player, and the coders. This issue impacts class skills, cutscenes, emotes, and especially designed monsters with customizable parts. Ooh, that's going to be unfortunate. Good luck. Ultra hats off to you. Spider finished the work on the helm converter and sent it to Warlick. Warlick will do a cloud build to make all of the hats. It was exciting to hear that he had finished it so quickly. I said, too bad there were not any embarrassing stories. He said, oh, there is one. I replied, what happened? Spider laughed and said, the Ultra hats were so big that they exceeded the maximum texture size and crashed the cloud builder. Oh no. I don't know if I have an Ultra hat yet. Ultra Hatality. Tomorrow we are going to try to get dialogue cutscenes functioning in Bludrut Keep, a cinematic cutscene control working, and a solution for the player dummy. Friday. Best day of the week. Greetings and salutations. We said it twice. We can see the chat down here. Breaking blood. While writing this, Ghost, Reens, Tunic, Warlick, and I, sorta, doing a special type of Bludrut Keep dungeon run. All the monsters are bugs. Code bugs. We are fighting through the release one door at a time. Actually, just one door. Full transparency, we are just trying to get through the quest to pass the first door. I've seen code errors that were not meant for human eyes. It feels like eons has passed since yesterday. I assume the things we are fixing were all mentioned in yesterday's post. A little drama with animation. That is a very clever way of saying animation. We started the day addressing the player animation issue. The fix turned out to be so simple that if it was true, everyone is going to immediately stop talking about it and quietly pretend it never happened. Cross your fingers that this is true because it really would be the best outcome. This is an interesting angle. Look at that. How did we do this week? 7.5 out of 10, as my father always said, still better than a sharp stick in the eye. We did not finish the dungeon and run a surprise test, but we did make major progress on combat, cutscenes, and quests, so our goal will stay the same. We'll finish Bludrut with quests, monsters, and cutscenes, then run a tech demo to test it. Happening this weekend. When he says happening this weekend, I'm pretty sure he's referring to the releases that have gone on this weekend in their other games. But that is the news of what is going on with AQ World Infinity, and they are bashing those bugs and making some pretty good progress. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.